In 2004, when we sampled Kabhi Yaar Kabhi Paar or Leke, like those were hit records that everybody knows. All of a sudden, all the channels in India stopped playing pop music. And I wrote the song with mom. So those lyrics are mom's.
I must admit, when I got onto this Zoom call, I had flashes of the pandemic because the last time I did this was 2021. But because my guest today on Fever is sitting all the way in Canada, I'd like to say that, hey man, this is the only way we can connect. Welcome, Raghav, to Fever. How are you doing?
Well, I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's an all new Fever. We've changed up a lot of things. But the one thing that we haven't changed is playing the best music. One second. Now we have to take a moment for this. 2004. This was the album Storyteller, and there was a song called Teri Baaton Mein, Aisa Uljha Jiya. And I remember 2 years in, I was on the radio already and I was playing that song on the radio. And here we are. This song is reincarnated. It's back. It not just is it back. Okay, सबसे पहले तो इस गाने का टाइटल जो है ये एक पूरी फिल्म का टाइटल बन चुका है. And it's happened in the past with Na Tum Jano Na Hum or DDLJ, which are all, mainstream, songs before they became movie titles. So let's start with that. The idea that a song of yours is now a major motion picture title. How does that feel?
It's outrageous. I mean, I didn't really, I only found out about that a few weeks ago. But what's special about this for me is that, I've collaborated with some amazing people in my life. But this song I wrote way before I knew that I was going to have a career that would be successful in the industry. And it was kind of, in the process of making Storyteller. And I wrote the song with mom. So those lyrics are mom's. So it's pretty cool that for 20 years we've celebrated the song's success together. Then it had a resurgence during COVID. And now I get to see, mom's my favorite collaborator. The way anything could be celebrated in India through Bollywood is amazing.
I think it's so special. This mom story has just made it so much more special. You've spoken to us before about this song, but I'm so excited this song comes back. I am still on the radio to talk about it, which is a double win. But let's just talk about how this happened. So usually Bollywood में जब लोग दूसरों के गाने इस्तेमाल करते हैं, there's never been questions of like asking permission. In fact, I remember the post you put up where Mira Sayal said that copyright in India is the right to copy. And that really cracked me up. But that wasn't the case with these guys, right? Talk to me about how this song found itself in this movie.
Around a year and a half or 2 years ago, the song had a resurgence online with Reels. It was like 1 billion TikTok views and all on Instagram again. Shortly after that or during that, I got a email or a call, I can't recall now, and it was saying that they wanted to incorporate it into a film. And then it was like, I've had calls like that in the past, but to be honest, it's the only area where an artist preserves their rights is if they've written the song, they can tell someone they can't synchronize it to a new film. So I've always said no in the past, but when this opportunity came up, I was told, hey, who'd be acting in the film, the scope of the film. But more than anything, it was like, this is a 20-year-old record, if it's happening organically, I should just follow the universe with it. So that happened, and then you kind of forget about it.
It's amazing. It's bizarre. Okay, I have two questions. I saw the video that they dropped, and this is on the T-Series official channel. The video is spectacular. Shahid and Kriti looking absolutely amazing, dancing, they're looking great. But there are two names there. One is, of course, the fact that, Tanishq Bagchi, who's kind of redone this song now. Names on the record now, of course, and it says Raghav and Tanishq. And then it says singers, Raghav, Tanishq, and Aziz Score. Okay, did you re-sing it for this one? Did you come down? How did that happen? And what does it feel like to re-sing a song? Did you find something new this time?
Yeah, so the funny thing about re-singing it is that when they supplied me the instrumental, again, this is over a year ago, I listened to it, and obviously it sounds different than my version. So about a year ago, I got the instrumental, which is so different from the original, but obviously has the same kind of loop in it. And I went in to record it. Now, the funny thing is that it was in the exact same key as the original. So I sang it in the original key, which was Teri Baaton Mein, Aisa Uljha Jiya, like around there. But when I do, anytime I record a song, in order to make it more exciting, I add harmonies. But in this one, because it's so simplistic, I only added an octave harmony. So Teri Baaton Mein, sing it terribly now. It's 9 in the morning here. But when I heard the record when it was done, which is their prerogative, I mean, they're producing it, they used that high vocal as the lead vocal. So the lead vocal that you hear in the song, I had recorded with the intention of it being like a backing vocal, and it's actually a high vocal. So at first I was like, oh no, 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 no. But I think over the past couple of weeks, it's kind of grown on me a little bit. But definitely at first, the intention wasn't to have it sung that high, because singing that high, I think is meant to just kind of create like excitement as opposed to being a lead vocal, you know?
Absolutely. I just think that it's come back in a way that reminds us of the older track. And at the same time, I feel that they've kind of preserved. I think Tanish Bakshi, I must give credit where it's due, has
Yeah.
this amazing ability to actually respectfully recreate an original. Would you agree with that?
Well, absolutely. But more than just the recreation, Bollywood has not always historically been a place where it's collaborative in terms of how the artist created. Um, Even though like when I first heard it, it was not the vocal that I wanted to use. I felt like I could express it, and Tanish would listen to me, and he was really respectful and caring with me throughout. So I think he has so much. He's already a big superstar, but I think the best is yet to come for him. He's got quite an unlimited amount of scope, and I'm a big fan.
Absolutely. I must take a moment, and I don't know if you've had the time to do this, but since I'm here, I'm going to do this. I'm going to take you through these amazing YouTube comments, give you some of the love that this song has received on the internet. And for example, this one right here, old version was a gem, but new one kept beats intact. Job. So this is Asia Asi Anand 2500. He said,
I love comments from India. They're so practical, and they're like, okay, ठीक है. ठीक है, चलेगा. Yeah.
Yes, I love that comment. And then there is one there. This is a 15-year-old song sung by an Indian Canadian singer. It catches up the listeners, no doubt. Love it.
There you go. I got a name. Akanksha Pandey. Yeah.
Okay. And then someone's
I'm dating a girl. She doesn't call me, hey, Indian Canadian singer.
Indian Canadian singer. Under that, looking for that song since long. Do you have the link? And someone says Angel Eye from Raghav Storyteller, which is
Yeah, Angel Eyes. Angel Eyes. She's got two of them. Yeah,
oh
she's got two of them.
Yeah, so this is a masterpiece. Back in the 90s era, this song will be the biggest hit of the year, which is amazing.
Okay, this comment I'm both thankful for and slightly upsets me. In the 90s, Manoj Kumar, I was in high school. My first album didn't come out till 2004. Everybody keeps calling me like a 90s artist. I think it's just the word to associate with nostalgia. But in 1997, I was still in high school, homie.
Absolutely. Then this one says, this song needed today's recognition. Raghav was amazing and ahead of his time. Still remember those childhood days when these songs were all over my iPod all day. Well, he's marked it correctly in time, which is iPod era. I remember that. Nostalgia hitting hard. Shahid did full justice to the vibe. Please add a cameo from Raghav. Like, you should have been in the video.
I'm not sure it's advisable if you're a fellow man. And there's Shahid Kapoor is on camera. I'm not sure it's advisable to my career to also be on camera with him. I think that's a bad idea. I appreciate the thought, but it's like, if someone said stand next to Shahid, then let's see how that looks for you. I don't think I'm gonna win that.
All right. Then there's this one, which is this song brings back old memories. I purchased the music CD of Raghav. That's like my generation, when this song was a hit back then. So thank you, Shruti.
Thank you, Shruti. That is very sweet. And I'm very touched that someone bought the CD and to just take it off Napster or whatever was happening. So yeah. Did you buy it?
Of course I did. For that. But I want to ask you that this is reams and reams of comments, right? There's so much love, but let's take it back not too far ago when you came back with Desparado, and that blew up the internet as well. So what do you think? What's the secret sauce of being, a Raghav song?
I don't know. Like, you know what? I think I needed to go away for a bit. Being a pop star in your 20s is such an amazing gift, but it doesn't make your 30s very easy, because you're suddenly not as fresh. Our industry changed so much. You would know this better than anybody, that like after Storyteller, after Angel Eyes, all of a sudden, all the channels in India stopped playing pop music.
Yeah.
I think it was only VH1 that would play like a little bit of pop music. So there wasn't a stage for us to really have the same appeal or to carry it forward. It became so Bollywood centric, and I wasn't part of that at that time. So it was like we started, and I say we because there was other artists involved in it. It's like there was this amazing scene from like '04 to '06 that bled over into people's hearts all the way to 2024. But starting '07, '08, it was like we just couldn't find the same platform, and it's impossible to compete as a pop music industry with what's happening in Bollywood. And then all of a sudden in the West, I'm like, my name is Raghav. It's not Ricky Ray. Like I'm not some ambiguous guy. Like I wear my Indianness as with a tremendous amount of pride and incorporated into my music. So it left me kind of without a stage for many years, where I still had hit records, I still had some successes, but it was impossible to really carry that on. The world has changed so much now in terms of how we look at art, and so much of the power has gone back into the people that have always supported me, and that's the fans. They have all the power now in the industry. And I think once it became more merit-based, I was motivated to be able to deliver to them what the connection that I felt like we'd been separated by circumstances. And Desparado was my first kind of way of saying, be with me again. And it's just carried over, and I hope it continues to do so. I'm very lucky. I don't think a lot of people get a second chance like this.
I mean, taking a sample from a classic and then doing what you did with it, I mean, it did so much even for that sample, I would say, because a lot of people, perhaps for the first ever time, heard Chura Liya because of you.
Well, that's a very sweet thing to say, and that's actually the intent when we sample records, is it should be jointly beneficial, and I don't think, Chura Liya is one that I don't think I can take credit for any success it's had, even since Desperado. That it's such a classic. But there is some truth to the idea that to the notion that maybe there's people that are not Indian that discovered the record because of it. And that happened with Kabhi Yaar Kabhi Paar when we did it for Can't Get Enough. And for me, it's just the story of my childhood.
That's why we love you so much, right? Because you've kind of built this love in. And they often say, I moved abroad for a couple of years and I realized how much people who move away from India love India, okay, love the music that comes out of this country, are able to respect it a lot more. And I took a lesson, from my years when I wasn't in the country, came back and then, was on a retro radio station for like 7 years, and just realized that we have so much great music. If only we loved and respected it as much as you did. So thank you for doing that for an entire generation, actually.
But it's funny because we do, like, this is going to get a little like nerdy now, but in 2004 when we sampled Kabhi Yaar Kabhi Paar or Leke, like those were hit records that everybody knows. But what's amazing about that is even 6-year-olds knew those songs. Our culture, the way that it's like everything is a Sinatra record, everything is a classic, so it is very special and it's very unique. And we should also celebrate how much we've carried our culture, regardless what corners of the world people went to, that they still feel a kinship with it. And then obviously for me, there's an extra pride knowing that when I come back to India, it still resonates, it doesn't feel foreign.
Absolutely. I'm going to take complete advantage of the fact that we've connected today and ask you what is coming up. Okay, what happens with Raghav fans in the next 1 year? Do we have you giving us more records, more collaborations?
Yeah, I didn't come back to go away this time. So actually, we have a new single coming out, which again has them storyteller vibes like Desperado. It comes out on February 16th. Oh. And we have another sample in it. It has a sample from the film Sahib Bibi Aur Ghulam, I think it is. Yes. So it's got that sample in it, and it drops. So we're editing the video right now, which is like my least favorite thing to do in the music business. I hate making music videos. As anyone who saw the Can't Get Enough video could attest to, it may be the worst dancing in a video of all time. But so I don't dance anymore, so your eyes shall not be subject to that. But I'm just really excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. So hopefully we'll speak in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think we're going to speak again. So come down to the studio. We'll do a chat whenever you're down.
Fever FM, happening